Alright, welcome to an unboxing and assembly of the Dwarf Dragon Slayer. So this is one of those single sprue kits that GW is now putting out. And so let's open it up and take a look at this sprue, and then I'll show you how it all assembles. And come soon there'll be a tutorial showing you how I painted it all up. So our usual clam pack here, which are horrendous for getting into. Okay. So here's our sprue. Just from looking at through the package and then looking a bit more now, the detail is just amazing. So you can see like all the toes there are perfectly rendered. The other foot for that guy is right here stuck to that piece of ruins. We've got some of the mohawk here, and the face is going to go on in front of that. So there's our face details there. So those are just unbelievable, relative especially to fine cast, which was terrible. So yeah, amazing amount of detail on here. So I'm going to clip these guys, all those pieces off of there, and on the inside of the packet we have our assembly. And it's very, very straightforward. So basically the torso goes onto the body, pieces of the hair go together, the face goes on, and it goes onto the base. So what I did notice is some of the new characters have just regular black bases because they have extra bits and there's some options. This guy doesn't have any options, he just has the two axes, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to snip these guys off of here, clean them up a bit, and I'll show you how that assembles. Alright, we're all ready to get assembled. I've got everything cut out and all the mold lines trimmed off. Just one thing I wanted to point out, I noticed on this sprue here that this is copyright 2012 and this is 2014 now, so clearly GW's had this sitting away ready to go, or some level of ready to go, for over a year now. So that's kind of neat to see that this these things here are in the works for quite a long time before they ever reach the final customer. So yeah, I've got all my pieces assembled or ready for assembly. I've got my assembly instructions here, and so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the head and then work my way down. So let's focus a little bit closer here. Oh. Okay, so looking at things, I'm going to be starting, let's see, how's this going to go here? I think what I have to do, I think this goes on that side, and then the other piece goes on the front here. Yeah. So what the glue that I like to use is Tamiya extra thin glue. So I'm just putting a little bit of that in there and fitting these together. There's that little peg in there, so that fits in quite nicely. And I'll put a little bit of extra glue just to flow in that crack. The reason I like the extra thin is for parts that fit together very nicely. It just flows in there and doesn't leave any sort of bubbles or anything like that. You just got to watch out for fingerprints. And with models being as detailed as they are these days, those will actually be noticeable. So there's that. And let's see, the face is going to go on the front there. So just a bit of glue on the contact point. Go. And I'm going to put a bit more glue along the hairline just to help fill that in so that there's no noticeable gap. So far so good, going together quite nicely. I think I'm going to do the torso now. Those arms, feeling my big fingers are going to get in the way with those. So fit that torso together. And just kind of wiggling it till it seats in the way I think it's supposed to. Gonna need a bit more glue. The other way to do this, of course, is to glue one piece at a time, let it fully dry. But that wouldn't really make for much of an interesting tutorial or assembly guide. So there we go there. I'm just going to put that down and let that set for a second. Put them in the frame. And I'm going to take a look at this bottom here. So these two pieces are going to go together like that. Nice, lots of contact area there. And get a nice amount of glue. Squeeze that nice and tight. And I'll put a bit more glue along that joint. And probably what I'm going to do is try to I may touch this up here with a bit of liquid green stuff just to get that gap filled in to make sure it's not anything noticeable. And let's see here. This is going to glue on here like that, so we'll get some glue down there. A nice scenic base that comes with this guy that he's leaping off of this dwarf ruin. Very convenient that it follows him around the tabletop. And nice and scenic. So as you can see, there's his foot there with a nice square peg, and there's the other side of that peg there. So we'll get some glue on both sides. Just give it a second to soften up, and just make sure I push that in such a way that it gets lined up. There we go. So I'm just going to let this sit here because it's obviously a very delicate joint at the bottom there. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. I'll pause the video, and then I'll come back and I'll do the arms, which are quite fiddly and delicate. So I'll just put a bit of extra glue in there, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I gave that a couple minutes to dry and just firm up a little bit, and I'm going to glue on these the arms. So obviously there's a right and a left, and just make sure that I get these, figure out which way they go before I add some glue. So that's going to go up kind of above his head there somehow. So let's get that, those two contact points glued. There you go. You can see his shoulder muscle kind of meshes in there nicely. Squeeze that a touch. Actually kind of almost touches his hair at the back. And the other one is going to go sort of across his chest. So let's get some glue on there. And nice fit there. The great thing about these parts is they fit together so nicely that you can just kind of push them in place and they kind of find their center very well sculpted, and absolute amazing detail. I mean, just look at the detail at the bottom of his pant legs there, his feet, just absolutely stunning. So this guy's going to be a lot of fun to paint, which is why I chose him to start in terms of the new characters that I wanted to show you. So yeah, check out my tutorials, check out my other videos, and if you have any requests, let me know. I'm going to try to feature as many of the new releases as I can, but obviously GW releases lots of stuff, so I can't do everything. I have a day job, so hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and see you next time.